The Xbox 360 really redefined the online gaming space. It allowed for some of the best memories to be made on Xbox Live, solidifying it as an answer to the online gaming boom that was in full swing in the mid-2000s. The 360 pushed so many things that we gamers take for granted today. Online gaming, movie streaming, Bluetooth controllers, and HD resolutions. The 360 really did pioneer a lot of the things us gamers enjoy even to this day. But on the flip side of that, it was also famous for one of the most popular hardware failures known as the Red Ring of Death, which almost buried Microsoft in repair units and a terrible reputation. The Green Team was a force to be reckoned with in the early 2000s, with it coming off its somewhat failure original Xbox, but then soon redeeming themselves with a new system to bring the market into the new era of gaming. This is the Xbox 360 and why you should pick one up in 2022. Support for Nathan Hines is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineering tools to make your job easier than ever. Manscaped recently launched the ultimate men's hygiene bundle, the Performance Package. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you later in the video. The year is 2003, and Microsoft is somewhat mad from their defeat in 2001 to the PlayStation 2. They tried to change the landscape in gaming with the original Xbox, with it being super powerful for the time. But it turns out that brand loyalty for Sony will always win, even if you have the beefier system. So Microsoft went back to the drawing board to come up with the next generation console, the Xbox 360. ATI was chosen for the graphics for the 360, with a deal being created for them to create a HD capable console. The development of the console itself was shrouded in secrecy, with Microsoft employees saying that IBM employees had to hide their work from the prying eyes of Sony, as PlayStation was also with IBM as they were using the cell processor on the PlayStation 3 console. You see, they were trying to get into the gaming industry after they saw the success of Sony's first console, the PlayStation 1. In that, Microsoft designed the original Xbox in the late 90s and then being released in 2001, with it having way more advanced specs than the PlayStation 2. And with that being said, you would expect the Xbox to outsell the PlayStation 2. Well, the Xbox kinda got crushed by the PlayStation 2 in sales and popularity. Although it wasn't a total loss for the company, as they beat Nintendo's GameCube in sales. The console had great games, but it wasn't enough for it to sell really well. And besides, the Xbox design wasn't anything to write home about. With me quoting Robbie Bach, everyone loved Halo and Xbox Live, but nobody loved the console. There was a lot of hype for the 360. It was like Rocky being the true underdog console, especially in the gaming market so dominated by Nintendo and Sony. Microsoft started pushing out promotional material to get interest and news coverage in the 360. They did this by pushing out games like Our Colony, which had challenges that players could complete to get sneak peeks into the console's development. Websites like Hex168 were created as a gateway into the Xbox 360's conspiracies, and if certain puzzles were solved in these websites, you could win a launch Xbox 360. Microsoft did a lot to make the promotion of this console the best it could ever be, and they even got Elijah Wood to present the 360. I don't know if that's a good thing, but hey, it happened. Soon after, the Xbox 360 eventually launched on November 22nd, 2005 in the United States and in Canada, going global on December 2nd in 2005 with a Japanese launch. By the end of its first year, the Xbox 360 had broken a world record, having arrived in 36 countries. And guess what? It was the first on the market against Sony, and that was a massive deal in the industry. Sure, the PlayStation 3 had better specs, but Xbox being on the market first allowed it to soak up sales and spotlight right into the holiday season. At a retail price of $399 for the core unit, or $299 for the arcade unit, the Xbox 360 had a price advantage over the more expensive PlayStation 3 back then. An Elite package was also offered not long afterwards that boasted a black color scheme and a heftier hard drive. And to be honest, it didn't matter if you had the more beefy system. You need to be first on the market as well as being cheap. You also had to be reliable, which the Xbox 360 did not have a great track record of. But do you know what has a great track record? Manscaped. The Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived, and oh man, it's a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver below the waist deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all of your items. First off, the Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer is the future of grooming. Dare I say, the greatest trimmer ever. It's sleek and probably one of the most comfortable trimmers I've ever used. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is also waterproof and also has a 400K LED spotlight, so you can practically shave in the dark, or if you want a more precise shave. And also, this shaver is waterproof, and so you can say goodbye to that mess on the bathroom floor. but do you want to take your grooming game to the next level? Well, the Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs on those delicate nose holes. The Crop Preserver below the waist deodorant and Crop Reviver below the waist toner will change your daily hygiene routine. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxes and the Shed Travel Bag. Bring your comfort and boxes to another level. It's time to take care of yourself, so go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with code NHINES. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using code NHINES. Unlock your confidence today and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. The 360 was known for the Red Ring of Death, which was a significant hardware failure caused by the desoldering of parts on the motherboard from extreme heat. The design of the 360 was so focused on being slim and powerful that they didn't even bother for space for proper cooling, which allowed the system to overheat so fast and melt soldering on the board. Other reasons for the Red Ring of Death was from shady business practices of shipping manufacturing to foreign countries to create the system, which was cheaper but led to almost 60% of 360s to have defects in them. That means that out of the 27 million units of the original 360s sold between 2005 and 2008, 16 million of them were defective in some way. It was only a matter of time before the defects were known to users. Microsoft, after realizing the flaws with their system, decided to extend the warranty to 3 years and have free repairs for all systems. It was a crushing blow to the company, but Microsoft had the money banks to take the hit. The Xbox 360, however, did recover and sold really well. They also released 2 other versions of the 360, known as the Slim version, which I have here, and the 360e, which resembles an Xbox One. Both these models did not have the Red Ring of Death, making them a much better model to buy. I've always recommended people buy the Slim model as it is the ultimate and reliable way to experience 360 functionality. The Xbox 360 came with a 3.2 GHz PowerPC Xenon CPU. For graphics, it came with an AMD Xenos GPU clocked at 500 MHz. For RAM, it came with 512 MB of GDDR3 memory. It also came with Dolby Surround, 4 GB of onboard storage, and resolutions up to 1080p with HDMI. The original Xbox 360 had some really good specs, making it able to play games in HD resolutions, although it was not known to many users, but it could also do HD along the component cables, because the console did not have HDMI until 2007 with the Elite model. Okay, I know that this video is titled Why You Need an Xbox 360 in 2022, but people need to know the history of the 360 and where it came from, allowing you to have context on the design changes and functionality choices that they made. Now, onto the reasons why you should buy one in 2022, and there are a lot, so stay with me. The Slim model is basically the best model of the 360 you can buy. It's quite a small console compared to the first 360 and adds internal hard drives as well as a quieter fan and unobtrusive design. Because before, the fan in the original 360 was incredibly loud. I much prefer the slim black design over the 360 OG. It was also reliable, meaning you won't get the Red Ring of Death as I've heard before. On the front, you also have the power button as well as the eject and front USB ports. On the back, you have the HDMI and loads of USB ports, as well as optical audio, power port, and also a hard drive tray. The Xbox 360 also came with the best controller of any console on the market. Seriously, Microsoft nailed the Xbox 360 controller's design and feel. To quote criticalhit.com, the original Xbox controller was a massive piece of plastic, roughly the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, and even more unwieldy to use. Microsoft eventually rectified this, creating a far more ergonomic controller for their system. Seeing no excuse to fix what wasn't broken, the Xbox 360 controller had the same button layout. 2 trigger buttons, 2 shoulder buttons, 4 face buttons, 2 analog sticks, start and select buttons, and a home button and a D-pad. The shape of the controller, however, was designed to be far more ergonomic, creating a comfortable input device that was easily the best of the bunch in that generation of gaming. The rumble was also perfect, gamers could jack in a stereo headset to communicate with friends on the Xbox Live, and the battery life with regular AA batteries was meaty to say the least. The Xbox 360 is still the king of comfort, allowing for long gaming sessions with minimal cramping, which is a great reason to buy one now. The UI of the Xbox is also a nice touch, with everything being super easy to navigate to in a more Windows 8 fashion, which not a lot of people are a fan of, but it worked well here in this console package. Icons are really easy to see, and everything you need for multimedia applications is easy to navigate to. Netflix, Hulu, and YouTube are all available, as well as Xbox Live services are being a key highlight here. Microsoft also tried this Wii-like idea with the introduction of 3D avatars that you could customize. I mean, it's cute, but you could definitely tell they tried to copy Nintendo and their Miis. Xbox Live was also a massive feature in the 360, allowing you to earn trophies for playing games as well as connecting to multiplayer, allowing you to play with friends and to find new people to hang out with. Honestly, I find this version of online much more intuitive and functional than the PlayStation 3, as communication between friends and new players players is much easier and more practical, allowing for more features such as voice recording and a better version of texting. Sure, the PlayStation 3 had the ability to communicate to others on online, but the 360 here was much more streamlined and functional. The Xbox Live is still supported to this day on the 360, as well as it being integrated in every Windows PC and Xbox One to Series X. Xbox Live still remains one of my favorite aspects of the 360, and a key factor on whether you should buy one. Speaking of online, majority of games are still supported with servers still running. Key examples are Call of Duty and GTA, as well as Halo, which I don't see support ending for just yet. Okay, GTA does not count anymore. The Xbox 360 is a console that defined an entire generation of games and inspired some of the best Xbox One games. The console is approaching its 18th anniversary and there are still plenty of titles to own, giving a big reason why you need to own one in 2022. GTA, Far Cry, Borderlands, Halo, Mass Effect, and BioShock are only a few of the franchises that made the Xbox 360 so memorable. Red Dead Redemption is the closest thing to perfection I've found in a video game. Okay, besides Silent Hill 2, but that's beside the point. After a run-in with the FBI, the Wild West story puts you in the shoes of John Marston, a former outlaw who was hell-bent on finding his old cronies. The Grand Theft Auto developers' open-world gameplay focuses on a deep plot and a cast of compelling characters, while also presenting a lot of astonishing activities based on the finest Western tropes. Red Dead Redemption's excellent narrative and voice acting give Mr. Marston and his contemporaries a feeling of realism. And even if the video game's visuals aren't very impressive in today's standards, it's still easy to become thoroughly immersed in the wild, wild west. Halo 2 set the standard for first-person shooters, but Halo 3 polished it as one of the finest Halo games ever. From its revolutionary ranked versus social multiplayer system to its armor customization options, its multiplayer suite is nearly unmatched in terms of overall quality, with the addition of 4-player online co-op. Furthermore, the game looks stunning in 1080p, and it also has a Forge mode, which lets players alter multiplayer maps to create new game settings. They were seriously amazing games on the system that immersed whoever played them. The Xbox 360 sold much better than its predecessor, although not being the best-selling console of the 7th generation, it is still regarded as a success, at the expense of some well-established rivals. The PlayStation 3 struggled for a time due to it being too expensive and initially lacking quality games, making it less far dominant than its predecessor, the PlayStation 2. And it took until late into the PlayStation 3's lifespan for it to pick up sales and games to reach the scale of the actual Xbox 360. There are many reasons to buy a 360 in 2021. One reason would be for Xbox Live or exclusives, or even for multimedia functionality as you could stream from Netflix and YouTube. It also offers a classic experience, transporting gamers to a more simpler time where games were pro-consumer and blessed free of microtransactions. In a lot of cases, it would be much more preferable to buy an Xbox One, but when you factor in cost, it makes a lot more sense to buy a 360 now, since they go for so cheap. I bought mine for a measly $40. You can't tell me that that's not a good deal. Also, the Xbox One doesn't feature the entire list of 360 games, only about 550, which is a lot, but from a collecting standpoint, that is incredibly low when you take into consideration the 360's actual game library. So no, I will not buy an Xbox One, when I can get a classic console, a good controller, and a buttload of games for under $50. Another reason to buy a 360 now is because of great modding potential that these consoles have, as they don't have many safety lock features preventing users from doing so. You can unlock a lot more potential with these consoles by soft modding them, allowing for thousands of games to be played without discs, all on a hard drive. Modding can also help you make the console way more reliable, as I've heard some softwares allow you to monitor CPU temps and change the fan controls. Okay, with that all being said, I think I've covered all the items that we need to cover with the 360. And to be honest, I don't think I'm really leaving anything out. Actually, I do think I'm forgetting something.
I keep having this nagging feeling that I've forgotten something.
Hey, if you forgot it, it probably wasn't all that important.
Yeah, I guess.
The Xbox 360 helped usher in the online gaming boom found on PC, and did so through the greatest online service known as Xbox Live, and implemented it in some of the greatest games of our generation. The Xbox 360 was truly a great step up from Microsoft. But that's it from me. Hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you all in the next one.